In this chapter, we'll learn about the chemical combinations, how this chemical combination takes place between atoms and molecule. Now here you can see that Gyan is questioned by his sister that how are compounds formed from elements. Her sister is asking that compounds कैसे बनते हैं? Can they be formed by just mixing the elements together? क्या उनको सिर्फ खाली elements को mix करने से हम compound बना सकते हैं? So the Gyan is responding no. Why he is responding no? Because we have learned in the previous worksheet that compounds are the chemical combination of different elements in a definite proportion. So he is replying that compounds are formed only by chemical reactions of the elements. You have to remember that compound can be formed by chemical reaction only, not just by mixing them, or by just by mixing that we can only form the mixture. Now here we have to learn two laws of chemical combinations, and Antonio Lavoisier was the scientist who has given the laws. He was also known as the father of chemistry. So the laws of chemical combination we have to learn. One is law of conservation of mass and the another is law of constant proportion. So first come to the law of conservation of mass. As you have learned law of conservation of energy, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Likewise, mass also cannot neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction. That means in a chemical reaction you cannot create new mass and you cannot destroy the existing mass. So a example has been quoted here. Here we are having A and B as a reactant, and when we are talking of A and B as a reactant, we can see that there is the mass of A is 4 gram and mass of B is 10 grams. Total it is 14. When they react, they form two new products, C and D. So these two new products which has been formed having the mass 2.5 and 11.5, but the total again comes to be 14. So here the mass of reactant is equal to the mass of products. So this is what law of conservation of mass says, that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. So the total mass of the chemical reaction remains constant. This you have to remember in each and every reaction, that the mass will remain constant. You cannot change the mass. Total mass will remain same. Now we come to the second law. It is law of constant proportion, which we talk in the definition of your compound also. By the definite proportion it can be same as in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. In that we were talking by number, here we are saying by mass. That means the mass of the particular element in a chemical reaction is also fixed. We cannot change the mass. So the elements which form a compound will always react in the same proportion of their masses, irrespective of origin of method of formation. This should be very clear in your mind. When we talk of example, you will make yourself more clear. Second point is a compound is always formed from the same elements everywhere. So this is also an important point. If a compound is having some formula, suppose if we talk of ammonia, it is having NH3. So this compound will be having the same formula wherever you go. That means one atom of nitrogen is combining with 3 atoms of hydrogen to give you ammonia. So a compound is always formed from the same elements everywhere. We cannot say that when we go to the different country and the ammonia will have the different formula. So we come to this point now. Through example we will learn elements which form a compound will always react in the same proportion by their mass. So we can take the example of water here. So water, what is there inside the water? If we break it, we are having 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. When we talk of their masses, hydrogen is having mass 1 gram and oxygen is having 16. So here we are having hydrogen number of atoms 2. So 2 into 1 equals to 2 and oxygen 1 into 16 equals to 16. So if you want to calculate their proportion of mass, it comes out to be 1:8. That means if 1 gram of hydrogen this one. 1 gram of hydrogen will react with 8 gram of oxygen. Okay, this you have to remember. 1 gram of hydrogen will react with 8 grams of oxygen to give you 9 grams of water. So this line is saying the elements which form a compound will always react in the same proportion of their mass irrespective of the erosion or formation. Likewise, if 2 grams of hydrogen is there, it will take 16 grams of oxygen to give you 18 grams of water. So I think it is clear for you. We can take 2 more examples in this to get the better understanding of this part. The second example is about the carbon dioxide. So what is the formula of carbon dioxide? It is CO2. That means 1 atom of carbon is combining with 2 atoms of oxygen. Okay, now the formula, mass of the carbon is 14 gram and it is 16, so we can write 2 into 16, it comes out to be 32. When we want to take out the ratio by mass, it is it's 12, not 14. Now we can divide them with a common factor. 4 3s and 4 8s, so it comes out to be 3:8. So here we can say that when 3 grams of carbon is combining with what, 8 grams of oxygen, okay, so it will be giving you 11 grams of carbon dioxide. Likewise, when 12 grams of carbon combining with 32 grams of oxygen, it will be giving you 44 grams of carbon dioxide. So this is how the reaction is taking place. One more example you can take of ammonia. In the ammonia case, it is NH3 1N plus 3H, so it is 14 plus 1. So when we talk of the ratio, because 3 hydrogens are there, it comes out to be 14:3, because we cannot divide both these with a common factor, so it will be 14/3. So you have to remember this point, that same proportion of their masses will be there. Now we come to the question answers. The question answers are very simple in this. We can easily state 2 laws of chemical combination. So the 2 laws which we have learned today, one is law of constant proportion and the law of conservation of mass. Second question, can there be a variation in chemical composition of 2 samples of pure water taken from different places? So the answer is no, and this point will be there. No, because compound is always formed from the same elements everywhere. Okay, and you can when we have to explain, you can take the example of water. It's very easy. Now we come to the question number 3. It's an interesting question. It is based on your first law, that is conservation of mass. What is there in this? 3 grams of carbon is burning in presence of oxygen to give you 11 grams of carbon dioxide. Okay, so 3 plus 8 giving you 11. So total of 3 plus 8 on the reactant side is also 11, and on the product side, so it is on the ratio side, as ratio also it's same. Now the question is saying that how much carbon dioxide will be produced if we take 12 gram of carbon and 32 grams of oxygen. So when 12 gram of carbon is with the 32 gram of oxygen, how much carbon dioxide will be produced? Just now we have seen in the equation also, it is coming out to be 44 grams, so we have to write 44. Okay, here the total also is 44. So which law of combination will be your answer? The law of conservation of mass will be the law which is in this followed. Now the last question, which elements are involved in the formation of ammonia and carbon dioxide? So in case of ammonia, the elements are nitrogen and hydrogen. You can write the number of atoms also. In case of carbon dioxide, it's carbon plus oxygen 1 and 2. So this completes your today's activity worksheet. Do it, and also subscribe for the channel, because full year you will be getting the important questions and other materials also after this lockdown period. So do subscribe the channel.